Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. We've got a small little sprinkle of news today. It is the next VJUMP promo. We had the artwork for this card revealed a couple weeks ago. I made a small community post about it when it did. VJUMP promos tend to not be all that great, especially over the last couple years. Basically, since Diviner, we haven't really had a great VJUMP promo come out in the OCG. But this one is a little different. We don't normally see Archetype-specific VJUMP promos. Not that they don't do them, but they're kind of fewer and farther between. And so this one's pretty interesting. Not only that, but everybody says this one looks like a Digimon, which is very funny and also true. I agree. But anyway, let's take a look at this thing. This is Chorozo, the Magistus Spirit. I've been saying for the last 2 or 3 years now, I really want Magistus to get support. They have a cool first wave, and it's cool that their archetype kind of ties in the lore of like a couple other different spellcaster-based archetypes. And I also think 2 more things before we get into it officially. One, because this is a VJUMP promo, I don't expect this card to be amazing. Generally, VJUMP promos, Konami doesn't make them very good because they're kind of hard to get, and if they make anything too good nowadays, it kind of becomes like a little bit of a maybe market vacuum where it's like so hard to find kind of thing. But I also think it's worth mentioning that because Magistus was confirmed to be the next OCG stories, like they did with Sky Striker. If you didn't know, over the last 2 or 3 years, Sky Striker's gotten over 10 new cards. I do think this is just the beginning. This is just the first card, and we will get more Magistus stuff down the line. All right. So we are looking at a level 4 Dark Fusion Tuner. Interesting that it's a tuner because this deck does Synchro Summon, as one very good Synchro and one mid Synchro. But this deck doesn't lock you either, so I don't think that's too big of a deal. It's 1,000 attack, 2,800 defense. Okay. Fine for the stats, and then its materials are any one Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link monster plus a Spellcaster monster. That's really, really interesting as well. That does make this a super poly target, I believe. Actually a pretty good super poly target potentially. Any deck that ends on a Spellcaster, basically any other extract monster with it can go with super poly, which is pretty cool. Alright, last thing, this card must be either Fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by sending one Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link monster card and one Spellcaster monster card you control to the graveyard. So pretty interesting as well that you don't even have to fuse into this if you don't want to. You can basically just summon this like a Link 2, basically. You can basically treat this as, if you're not fusing into this card, you can just basically link off a extra deck monster and a Spellcaster monster, which is not too shabby. I mean, Link 2s are pretty easy to make. That's pretty easy materials to set up, especially for a deck like Magistus. That's not too bad. Alright, for the actual effect, there's only one effect here. Soft once per turn, it looks like. Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can target it as cost. Negate the attack, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's until the end of this turn. Then you can return that monster to the hand. Very, very interesting. Whoa, whoops. There we go. Let's see. I would say this. This effect does not wow me. I think the most particular part about this effect is that it says you can target it, which is really rough because if you could target any monster, like if it was just when a monster declares an attack, target any monster on the field, negate the attack, this monster gains attack, and then bounce that monster, that would be so much better because then offensively you're able to attack with this card and basically bounce something in the battle phase, which even, let's say for example, even after super polying into this card, you're able to, you cleared 2 monsters off your opponent's field, you then summon this, you go battle phase, you attack to bounce a 3rd monster. That baits so much with just super poly, right? That's pretty cool. But I hate that it only can target the monster that's attacking. So when you have this on field, why would your opponent ever attack you if they know that you have this? So I don't think this effect is very good. In fact, this effect's almost borderline negligible. This effect almost doesn't matter at all. What does matter though is a couple things. One, I do think this does make instant fusion a little bit just extra playable in something like Magistus. Even generically, it could potentially make instant fusion a little more playable. I'm not sure there's a level 4 tuner that tuner fusion that was instant fusionable. Or sorry, not, am I thinking? Yeah, instant fusion. Not making sure I wasn't confusing with the ready fusion. Now I know instant fusion is only at 1, but there are just certain decks where like that's just a really cool extender, a level 4 tuner. Maybe exactly what certain decks are looking for. There, super poly target. It's honestly more of an interesting card generically for those reasons than actually as a Magistus support card. I guess in the most pure sense, like theoretically, you can just play one instant fusion in your deck just because you can summon this for either the level 4 like spellcaster tuner, or just summon this just to link off straight into Artemis without normal summoning, because that's pretty cool. Because like then Artemis is going to be able to equip to something else and then get you a search. But just still underwhelming overall, I would say. Kind of where I expected it to be. I actually didn't expect it to be this relevant as far as a generic card to make like Super Poly or something like pretty interesting, but this is where we're at. So it's interesting. I'm not gonna. I don't think it's a throwaway card. I think if you're already a fan of Magistus, I would pick it up, just because it could just be a mandatory card that you just go through in certain plays, or if you play Super Poly or something in the deck. The fact that you already have like an in-archetype target for it's pretty nice. Plus, like any spellcaster deck now with like Super Poly is able to like use one of their spellcasters and clear any extra deck monster basically off the field, which is kind of cool. Yeah, there's cool. Like there's definitely some uses here. It's not helping Magistus specifically that much, and that's not too far from my expectations were. I just kind of wish it had like an actual equip effect, because that's the one thing that weirds me out here is that like every Magistus extra monster almost has just like a bonus effect that while it's equipped to a monster, because that's what the archetype does, it just equips extra monsters to themselves, main deck monsters to themselves, and then you get bonus effects while they're like equipped cards like that. This card doesn't have any effect like that, so that's just a little weird to me, but whatever. It is what it is. We'll take it. I would just take this if you're a Magistus fan. There's probably going to be more Magistus cards down the line, so I wouldn't get too bummed about this card not being crazy. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. If you're a Magistus player, let me know if there's any extra synergies that this card specifically has with the deck, or even any generic applications that you think this card could have outside of stuff like Super Poly and Instant Fusion. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, I'll keep you up to date on news. We've been a little bit dormant right now, but I do think we're right on the cusp of ramping up into full Rage of the Abyss reveals. So those should actually be kicking off in the next week or two. So I'm excited for those. But stay tuned for more news videos from me down the line. Subscribe for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.